What's going on? This is Aaron Price, the CEO of Tech United New Jersey. Excited to see you wherever you are today, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Your social media of choice. Today, talking about something very important about cybersecurity and how the Fortune 500 company of Comcast Business unexpectedly became your cybersecurity champion, especially in pandemic times when we've got people working with various devices in various places. This is becoming an even more important topic. Joining me today, Jody Higeman, the Senior Director of Next Gen IP Networking, to share a little bit more about this topic. Jody, nice to see you.
Yes, you as well. Thanks for having me, Aaron.
In what secured IP location in New Jersey are you joining us today?
I'm technically in Staten Island, New York. So.
Oh no, our nemesis. Did you happen to buy a ferry recently?
Not me, but my neighbor, right? Pete Davidson. Yes.
He did. Is he actually your neighbor?
He lives about 15 minutes away. Yes. So, creating chaos dating Kim Kardashian in our neighborhood. So we can't go to our pizza places. We can't go to our, movie theaters. They rent them out. So it's been interesting.
We should do a follow-up LinkedIn Live on the behind the scenes of what happens when, two big celebrities date in your backyard.
Yes. And
but
the impressive jokers as well. Right.
That's right. But today we're talking about cybersecurity. And first, I wanted people to understand, I'm sure most of our viewers know who Comcast is. I'm sure some of them are familiar with Comcast Business, but can you share the distinction? What is Comcast Business? How is it different than what people know as Comcast? And what should they know about Comcast Business?
Sure. So I think probably most of you think, Comcast is, residential Xfinity cable services. And so Comcast Business approximately, I would say about 15 years ago, became an offshoot of that, in which we decided we wanted to attract all types of businesses, small, medium, large, enterprise customers. And so we have now built, the nation's greatest, last mile network in the country, looking to expand, looking to expand internationally. And so, such an exciting time. But yes, we started out really servicing small business customers. And then 6 years ago, I was brought on board with a whole bunch of other people that says, we want to move up market. We want to attract other types of customers, mid-market, all the way up through large enterprise.
And so how does Comcast Business evolve? How has Comcast Business evolved to match the needs of some of these customers? You said you've been there, I think you said 6 years, but especially over the last couple in the pandemic, how have things changed?
So, right, we are, like all of us at home, right? We're users that need to connect to our applications without compromise and securely. And so in that simple phrase, what does that all mean for all of us? So I was part of the launch of our new, back then, 2017, SD-WAN, software-defined wide area networks. How do we connect multiple users, multiple locations, multiple sites back to applications in a very application-aware way, being able to route traffic based, instead of voice, video, data packets like we used to do back in the day. Now we're routing traffic based on Salesforce, Teams, applications. So in the last 2 years, really customers are anywhere. So that work from anywhere concept, where do they live? How do we connect them back to their resources? And then how do we, in the last 2 years, how do we do it securely? And so that has been our secure SD-WAN service, is the marriage of SD-WAN plus unified threat management. So you're giving customers the tools to protect themselves wherever they may be. And so that's been a huge focus over the last 2 years.
We're going to come back to that in a little bit, but what are some common issues that you see people have, especially, both of us right now are in our homes. And so how do businesses effectively manage all these various devices and in ways that people actually work? And how can they leverage the Comcast Business tool set to make sure that these things are secure?
So the power of software-defined networking, which has been, just really amazing, I would say, over the 6 years that I've been here, is that because everything is in software, we have the ability to give customers what is called a digital experience, or a portal. And so that portal gives them visibility to their sites, their users. Are they up? Are they down? Are they impaired? They can look at trends. How is my site? How is my bandwidth trending at this location? And then they can also look at the various security policies that are in place, so that they know they're protected, their end users are protected. So that has really been the software defined revolution has really, just changed the game for all of us from a networking perspective.
So for growth and enterprise clients, I think this makes a lot of sense. Maybe these have best practices or hopefully working towards best practices. Some of our community is early stage entrepreneurs or early stage companies. Do you have any and many of them working on their personal devices and using tools like the Google Suite or perhaps Teams, but
Sure.
any suggestions for how they should be implementing a smart cybersecurity strategy as their companies grow?
So they should definitely, we have a multitude. So here at Comcast, we have a multitude of products. Someone, if you're saying they're small and they're starting out, our Security Edge product is amazing. It's really targeted at our smaller, SMB type customers. As we move up to, medium and small businesses, we have even more tools. We have DDoS protection. It all depends. There is a full suite of, security tools that we offer customers, all just depending on their needs. But we definitely look at different market segments and look at, what are they small? Do they, what is it that they need? But we do have a security solution that covers them all.
For people who think, we're good. We're 3 people. We're 5 people. I trust my employees. Any stories you could share of people who've thought that and what went wrong?
Oh, yes. So over the pandemic, I would say in the last 6 months, we had a customer, 3 sites, and they said, we're too small to be hacked. And next thing you know, there was a code update for their Exchange server that was not done. A hacker got in, then held them for ransomware ransom for $30,000. And we literally got the phone call the next day saying, you had talked to us about a cybersecurity option. We just didn't think we needed it. And now here we are facing, a $30,000 payout that for a small business of 3 sites, that could cripple us. That could put us out of business. We really need your cybersecurity solution. So plenty of those stories have surfaced. Yes, many myths. People think they're too small to be hacked, and that's not the case at all.
And what would have happened had they implemented the tool that you had recommended? Would it have auto patched that update? Like, what would have changed that it saved the day?
Yes, we would have done an analysis of their network. We would have done all of the, made sure all of the security patches were in place. We would have guardrails that would have prevented our security tools. Our unified threat management basically throws up those security roadblocks that says, hey, you're not getting in. We've got this policy in place that, you can't penetrate our perimeter.
Yeah, and for those who may not be aware, some of the bigger institutions in New Jersey, many of them have dealt with this issue. Stevens Institute of Technology has dealt with a ransomware attack. Hackensack Meridian, they're all targets. But this is happening in our backyards, and if it hasn't happened to you yet, it's just a matter of time. So I hope people take this issue seriously.
And I think what's also important is managed services. So you just asked, well, who would do the patching? Who would know about, their network? We are seeing a tremendous uptick of the marriage of cybersecurity with managed services. So managed services, we provide a lot more comfort around the IT staff at any institution to make sure that all of these things are covered. Various businesses lack the proper, they just don't have the resources or they don't have the people. And so in the last 2 years, we've seen a tremendous uptick in managed services with cybersecurity.
And again, even on that issue with the small business, because I'm curious if in some cases the concern is affordability. What kind of a price tag are people looking at to do something that would make a big difference?
Sure. So yes, we have, appropriately priced solutions for our smaller customers. In our instance, the current 2 products that I work on, we have so Versa Networks is our SDN, powers our software-defined networking solutions. And so we have a unified threat management package with them. We also have a unified threat management package with Palo Alto. So security is customers want to go with best of breed providers. Security is something, if they're going to purchase those services, they are not just going to pick someone that doesn't have a reputation in the industry. So yes, cost matters. And the prices can range. We try to bundle prices together, put together solutions so that it's appropriate.
Yeah. I know this isn't your specific domain, but do you recommend to people options for ransomware insurance?
We do not. No. Yeah. But yeah, great question. Right.
It,
Yeah. Who
it,
should
it is
they?
out that is out there, is that I believe, right? That
I
is an
believe
option.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Anyway,
certainly
yeah.
in the pandemic, we've seen an uptick of ransomware. And so you were asking, I had gone to a women in cybersecurity conference last year, and the number one thing they said, if you do nothing else, put in multi-factor authentication into your network. If you cannot afford anything else, you want to protect yourself as minimally as you can, multi-factor authentication. And everybody really was like, yeah.
That's it. That's an easy one.
Yeah.
How has, on that topic, I'm going off script a little bit here, so you can push me back in the right direction. But we think a lot about how to empower the diverse population in the region. Not we're making fun of Staten Island, but in the region in general. How can we drive more women into cybersecurity? Because you mentioned you went to this conference. I'm guessing this is an area of interest based on that comment.
Yes, and I had
What do you think we can do? Yeah.
I went to Stevens Institute of Technology as well.
So yeah, and I'm in Hoboken at the moment. So yeah, we're basically I'm basically brothers with Pete Davidson.
Yeah, so interesting. A lot of people ask how I've gotten into this field. I started at AT&T when I was 21 years old. As soon as I graduated, it was the beginning of the internet back then, and so we had built AT&T's business services, and that was it. I've been rolling out virtual private networks to customers, for 25 years. So it's just something at that time I fell into. But yes, there are now tremendous resources, conferences, groups. There's an organization here in New Jersey, the Women's Forum, totally focused on cybersecurity, based out of New Jersey. They do conferences, meetings. There's more women in cybersecurity actually than you would really realize. Only that these forums bring us together to talk.
Do you find it's a welcoming career path for women?
Well, it's definitely in demand, right? It has always been in demand. And I think the conversation's interesting about, what happens when you don't embrace cybersecurity? It feels like it's that product that everybody knows they need, but do they want to buy it? Do they think it's worth it? And it's been interesting to change that conversation, make cybersecurity more interactive, make it more user-friendly, bring it as part of, I think you're seeing consumerism and, technology marrying together. So now you have more people that are willing to understand it, embrace it. And it's been a long ride, 25 years.
Would you recommend to someone who's say fresh out of Stevens now this career path?
I would also definitely recommend data science. I find myself sitting with our data science team and just cranking out information. I need to look at information in 7 different ways so that I can make quick business decisions about which way we should go with certain products. And so data science is really, another hot industry, especially for young people, getting into telecommunications for sure.
Yeah, great point. And neither career paths, things that will be seemingly going away anytime in the near future. In fact, likely to grow dramatically. Yeah,
sure. Everybody wants to look at data visually and in a different way to understand consumer behaviors, traffic patterns, customers' buying behaviors. And so the more information you have, the more intelligent decisions you can make and make sure that you're meeting customer needs.
So on that point, right, a lot of behavior has changed quite a bit in the last 2 years. So coming back to some of the Comcast Business offerings, how have some of these products innovated, evolved over the last couple of years?
So definitely, our cybersecurity platform and our portfolio continues to evolve. So for example, unified threat management, that is a known, that is something that's been around for many years. We put a new name on it. And so then the next term is called SASE, Service Edge Access. And so that's the next. Here's all this suite of security services that people want to understand. Do I need them? What's the minimum data set? And so SASE, you're going to start to see all the products that roll into that framework. SASE isn't a product in and of itself. It is a framework. You're going to see all those other products roll out and customers embrace them and figure out how to use them in a way that makes sense. But unified threat management, first stepping stone. You're putting guardrails around customers' behavior. But then customers come to you and say, but I want you to mitigate these threats, and so that's where managed intrusion detection comes from. There's additional products and services to make people bulletproof, so that they can't be hacked. So there's the SASE journey is really just beginning for customers, and so it's an exciting area to be in and know about.
Yeah, I think my SASE journey is also just beginning. How about on the mobile device? Like, how do these applications lend themselves to mobile? And again, the BYO scenario where you have employees with various devices. Maybe you've secured the company laptop, but then how do you manage the rest of these things that they show up with? They borrow a child's device, whatever. How do you manage that?
So that is actually another industry that I spent a small portion of time in, many years ago, mobile device management. So there are companies like Mobile Iron, AirWatch. They actually lock down the device. They put all of those security parameters. It's built into the software on your phone. So I have a corporate device that is, security is all built in through mobile device management. Mobile device management connects back to cloud-based resources. And so, that's a different journey. Actually, what I thought you were going to say is that, the proliferation of IoT devices we are seeing, like we see financial, we see manufacturing, we see healthcare. They have these, IoT devices are everywhere. There's, 25 at a minimum probably existing in your home at the moment. How do you monitor, secure them, maintain the firmware on them? And so that's where you see, software-defined networking also coming in there, seeing those devices, monitoring, maintain them. And so, the rise of smart factories, all those temperature checks, monitoring equipment, all of that needs to be monitored, maintained, secured.
Well, so that was kind of where I was going with this. I'm curious, even with your own home network, do you have extra layers of security to make sure you're monitoring some of those things?
It's funny. I had a cousin from Florida call me yesterday and was telling me he was having problems connecting to Instacart to send. I said, "Do you have that VPN software on there?" And he said, "Yes, I actually have 2 VPNs on there." I said, "Well, that is going to be your problem." So, he immediately thought, "I'm having internet problems. Can you have Comcast come check my internet service?" I said, "I guarantee it's your VPN settings, that are not communicating appropriately with the app." So, yes, But
do
again,
you recommend go ahead.
Multi-factor authentication. I would say at home, the biggest thing people don't do is change the Wi-Fi password that comes from their service provider. So, myself here with Verizon Fios, if I didn't change the password, that's your first, easy way to hack into someone's home network.
That's a great point. Let's talk again a little bit more about the software-defined WAN. How is that a game changer, and how does that help customers in a way that they maybe weren't used to in the past?
So back in the day, like I was saying, the networks I built 20 years ago were all voice, video, data packets, and you were routing traffic based on packets. Today, it is based on applications, layer 7. When you look at the OSI model, like we just never had that. We never had the ability to route traffic over multiple links at the application level so that you can really maximize your bandwidth that you have coming to your home, to your office. And so the other part of it is, like I said, that digital experience, being able to take all that data and push it back to customers and say, were you aware this was going on in your network 2 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, 90 days ago, and show people their network behaviors and tell them a story. As it's been revolutionary. Customers just love it. Love all that transparency, right? Back in the day, people did not trust their service provider. Now here you go. Here's all the keys to the kingdom. You can see just as well as we can.
And for those who want security, but maybe they didn't even understand half the things we're talking about here, can they sign up for this and sort of set it and forget it for the most part and know they're safe, or do they need to be an expert in the space?
No, they do not need to be an expert in the space. And again, that's why we're, Comcast, we've really staffed up in this area because, like I said, managed services, we do all of that. We do all the data gathering. We do all the configuring for you. We do the, set it and forget it. We do the monitoring. But yes, no, there is no barrier to entry when it comes to our Comcast Business cybersecurity solutions.
So I was, my last question was going to be your number one best practice for cybersecurity. You talked about the
multi-factor authentication.
Yeah. Is there anything else I'm so curious. In my world, I'm often the tech support call. I can imagine in your world, your friends and family who call you for some of these things. But any other common mistakes, even on a personal level, personal or business, that you would just, as a PSA, would get people to remember to take care of?
It's right. Password management, making sure that, you really don't use the same password. I think about my iPhone that's like, hey, I see you using the same password for 5 different sites. And,
Yeah.
that it's been hacked. And now, they know that you've used this password. They could hack into other,
Yeah.
locations. So password management, multi-factor authentication, change your Wi-Fi password at home. Those are your top.
Those are the easy wins.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you joining us today and sharing all this, and appreciate everything Comcast Business does, both for the business community, especially for Tech United New Jersey. It's been great to have you guys as a partner.
Yes,
I hope
thank
that
you.
maybe we, when this ferry actually launches, maybe we could share a drink on it.
The
But in the
ferry is-
meantime,
The
yeah, go
ferry,
ahead.
the ferry is going to be a comedy club. It's going to be docked, I believe, off Staten Island. They're going to make it a bar, a comedy club. So yes, come on over.
Which sounds kind of awesome, I think, if you ask me. But maybe I'll meet you. I'll meet you over there.
Yes.
This is your first time on the show. Normally, well, it's been a long time, but when we're in person, we do a lot of high fiving. So we end the show with like a high five. The cameras on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, boom. Good to see you. Thanks you for joining us, Jody
Yes, thanks
Hickman,
for
Senior
having me.
Director of Next Gen IP Networking and Comcast Business. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.